So it's finished. Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. A brilliant performance, one of resilience for Southampton after going down to 10 men and managing to just hold off wave after wave of Manchester United attacks. Something that last season we may not have seen.
Yeah, it's a really good point actually. Many times we capitulated with 11 men. We'd had a lead or we'd had a draw, been in a position to get points. And don't get me wrong, Man United could have come away with the points here. One from Ashley Young looked like it was going to be an outrageous goal in the top corner, just shaves the post. Greenwood came on, really good attempt from him and a couple of good saves from Angus Gunn, who I thought stood up in the goal really well. But the defensive rear guard and the midfield and everyone really, up to Shane Long at the top, put in everything they could, and it was a matter of just seeing it out until the end of stoppage time. And I think it was a really resilient performance. There's a word that maybe we haven't used to describe Southampton in recent seasons.
Definitely, and it's the kind of performance you want going into that international break, because if we'd gone into an international break with Man United getting a last minute winner, all positivity gone, whereas now we're going into that 2-week break with just so much positivity going on.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll take you through the game then. We obviously hear from St Mary's immediately after the match. It was a first half really dominated by Manchester United. They had most of the chances. They were really impressive. Southampton on the ball was struggling to execute the game plan. Both teams looking to counter each other. Manchester United having maybe more quality and creating more chances. Wan-Bissaka had a couple of chances. There were some for Rashford, but in particular Dan James and that left-hand side for Man United were really causing Cedric, Bednarek and Southampton's right some real problems. And he scored after 10 minutes, but really for the entire game I thought it was a real plus point. He looks like an excellent player.
A really good player, Dan James. That was a fantastic goal, and he just caused so many problems down that left side in the first and second half, and that was when Man United really managed to get forward well, and he could have set up a winning goal had that cross not hit his standing foot.
Yeah, and that was late on, and that was when the barrage was coming in. But Southampton did well to get to half time. They did have a couple of opportunities in the first half, but really struggled to make any of their pressure turn into actual chances. I thought Wan-Bissaka coped well with Buffal in the first half, and really Southampton was struggling to get a rhythm. And 1-0, I think a lead for the visitors was just deserves really. Second half and for the first 15 minutes, Southampton came out and it was roles reversed.
Absolutely, Southampton came out of the blocks really quickly, forced Manchester United into a few errors, and the goal from Yannick Vestergaard was absolutely fantastic. What I like, although he got sent off later, it was brilliant play by Kevin Danso, because the ball has come across, and you've seen so many times when the ball just comes over to that far side of the penalty area from a corner, a player just aimlessly hook it back into the box, but he waited for it to bounce right, and he just lofted it perfectly to that far post when Yannick Vestergaard, he's beaten Lindelof in the air. It's a towering header, it's a great goal, and that just rounded off a fantastic display by the Dane.
Yeah, he had a very good game, and up until that point, from the start of the second half really, up until that goal, it had been coming. There were chances for Southampton. I remember Che Adams putting one wide, lashing at one. That had come from a corner, and a couple of... It was one of those spells where Manchester United were trying to clear the ball, and it was just coming straight back at them, and it was something that Saints do tend to do in games and did really well. And I agree. I mean, two centre-backs by trade. Kevin Danso played left-back, curling one into the far post, lofting a great ball, and Yannick Vestergaard looked favourite, and he managed to climb above Lindelof and power in a header from close range for his first goal for Saints. But it did round off a great performance, and we were saying before, it sounds cliche that the two goal scorers might be your vote for man of the match, but generally, even without the goals, I would say Dan James and Yannick Vestergaard had a magnificent games. The Dane was fantastic defensively. It's probably the best game I've seen him play defensively. Caps it off with a goal, and you don't know, maybe the confidence from that performance and how well he was defending on the pitch helped him get that extra couple of inches above Lindelof to header that goal in. But Dan James looks a real player, and all the way till the end really he looked like the most likely threat. Southampton getting into the game, it's got to 1-1, and actually Southampton continuing to press, looking like the team, as we said in commentary, most likely to score the third goal, and then Kevin Danso makes an almighty error, and Saints are reduced to 10 men.
Exactly, it was reckless, and for someone on a yellow, you don't throw yourself into that kind of challenge. It's put Southampton on the back foot for the rest of the game, because it's a game where, having got the equaliser, Man United were completely rattled, and Southampton looked like the team that could go on to win it. That challenge from Danzo means that Southampton have got to see out the game. It's a well-deserved point, but if he stays on the pitch, we could be talking now about a possible winner. But at the end of the day, it's a good point for Southampton. It's a good point to take us into the international break.
Yeah, and you don't know what would have worked out with 11 against 11, because Man United might have taken control of the game as they did in the first half. They've got the quality to do that, and it would have been more of a game. What we found was that the game completely changed. Saints had to make some changes, had to put Maya Yoshida at left back, bring him on, and really play with a 4-4-1 with Shane Long as your man chasing down the scraps. And I thought the team from Angus Gunn all the way up to Shane Long were absolutely fantastic to a man defensively, but also in terms of trying to win the ball back high up the pitch, and as we tried to clear the ball or we tried to play our way out of trouble, just offering and trying to gain some yards, maybe win a throw, win a free kick. Armstrong came on, he did that particularly well, and generally it's a proud performance for Southampton fans, and it was shown as the players went off at the full-time whistle. It was almost like Southampton had won the game, and the fans were really showing them their appreciation.
Exactly, that's what they were doing, and it was really good to see. Now we are going to go and take the receiver back down to Southampton, because they keep that part of the equipment, and we're going to see if we can get into the press conference.